And we are now heading into our next segment. And I'll tell you what, sometimes the stars align and you are just able to land, guests that blow everybody away. And I have to say, today we have done that. Jason, you're going to be interviewing me. I better get my interviewee hat on here. I'm going to make us split screen here and share. We're going to talk a little bit about marketing. We'll talk a little bit about practice management. We'll talk a little bit about where we're going in 2022 as well with the Smart Chiropractor. But I'm going to take a back seat. You're going to be the driver during this segment. I am happy to be the featured guest on today's episode.
Well, I am so honored that we were able to get you during this time of year. I know how busy you are with family and all the things that you do to contribute to making the profession and the world a better place. So let me start off by saying, Dr. Jeff Langmaid, co-founder of the Smart Chiropractor, thank you so much for being here with me today.
My pleasure. Happy to take the time and excited to share.
Awesome. So as we end this year, 2021, and begin to look into 2022, I'm curious from your vantage point, what did you learn in 21 that you're going to improve in 22, as it relates to, your philosophy of life, of marketing, of business? The world is upside down and it's still in its, washing machine tumble mode. To be determined as to how and when this all sort of settles into whatever new normal, I guess we're going to call it. What have you learned, and what does 2022 look like for you and all of your clients?
Yeah, I think the number one thing for me is that, it's an old saying, but it's, every challenge presents an opportunity. I think as we've seen the world be challenged, as we've seen chaos, it always presents opportunities as well. And for many chiropractors out there, I know with many of our members and just the docs we spoke to over time, the initial, hit of what's occurred over the last few years really took its toll on a lot of practices, varying levels depending upon what state they practiced, etc. However, many bounced back almost even stronger over time. And that's a great example of when chaos and challenges can create opportunities, because people started to, in my opinion, look for more natural ways. They tried to look towards, hey, what can I do to stay as healthy as possible? What are maybe some of those things that I've been putting off that I should put onto my plate, onto my radar? And those docs that were getting out there and teaching and inviting consistently, as we just showcased with the member highlights, really had a supreme advantage when they were, just getting out there with their message of who they are and what they do. And they saw, results follow actions. They were taking those actions that led to results over time. So that's something I think that is a great takeaway, that even with challenges in the outside world, there are things that are controllable and things that are uncontrollable. And while you might not be able to control everything, when you can focus on what you can control and those action steps that you can take little by little each and every day, it starts to add up over time. I'll bring it a specific example of what we've done with the Smart Chiropractor, so docs can really get a tangible example of this as well for what they've maybe seen through us. Is, earlier this year, about a year ago, we started to really focus on creating blog content. And we said, gosh, we'd love to have more visitors coming to our website, free traffic, people searching things, and be that resource. We wanted to be that beacon of hope and inspiration, for many chiropractors out there, just as many chiropractors are to the people in their community. And we said, what are the action steps we can take to do that? Well, you can certainly spend money on advertising and pay for clicks, or we decided to go about it a different way, which was, how do we build a blog that has articles that are clinically focused, marketing focused, that are what we are passionate about, what we, and how do we curate a nice team of individuals that can help us with that. And lo and behold, we published one blog, and I can tell you there wasn't a million people that visited it. Right? So, but we kept up, and our actions every single week, we published blog content. Now we look back over the last year and we can see we're getting hundreds, if not a couple thousand visitors each and every month to our blog. Hands off, just checking things out, cruising around. They get in our ecosystem. We start to build that know, trust, and like factor over time. And, maybe they subscribe to the group, maybe they check things out here, and you start to build that relationship and bridge that gap. And the same thing holds true for every practicing doc out there. If you're not getting your message out, how are people going to know who you are and what you're about? So what are those action steps that you're taking each and every day, each and every week, each and every month, depending upon what it is and what the cadence should be, that can help you achieve that goal. So that was just an example there, and also a little bit of optimism, saying, hey, with every bout of chaos and challenge, there's always a silver lining and an opportunity, especially when you start to look at, hey, what are those things that I can do, and what are those things that I can control, and it invariably yields a good result over time.
I love that example. It illustrates a few things that I just sort of am observing. I hope others are getting. One, that you chose a thing, right? You didn't just say, I need to grow. You said, we're going to focus on building our organic traffic through blog posts. And you dug deep specifically into one specific tactic that you really focused on. Do I want to do the writing? Do I need to get a team of writers to help me do the writing? What should I write about? Is it only what I'm interested in? Is it only what they're interested in? Is there an interface between those things? Do I get professional help, or do I just figure this out on my own? And all of those questions to help you move one metric forward, not all metrics, one specific metric forward. I know the numbers, I've seen the details, I've watched what's happened over the year, and kudos to you for driving all of that. Let's kick into, what does it look like? What's your prediction for 2022 for you, the Smart Chiropractor, and for the Smart Chiropractor clients, members who are either current members or will be soon to be members? You mentioned we had a massive month of new members coming on. Congratulations and thank you. Welcome. Join the club, join the tribe. What does it look like for all of us in the next year coming up? Because it is a process that is constantly evolving, constantly growing, constantly sort of pivoting to the changes in technology, the changes in our understanding, the changes in the world, and really constantly trying to, adjust the sails to the wind, the water, the speed, everything, to make sure you're on the right pathway. What's 2022 look like for you?
Yeah, there's two primary items that kind of stick out to me. One is doing what we do well better. So continuing to make things easier and more effective for our members. For example, just looking at our calendar for next year gets me really excited. Really choosing those monthly campaigns, those weekly topics, and then building out those daily posts. Now we have so much fantastic data, servicing hundreds of docs around the world. We're reaching 5 million plus people on social each month. We're sending 500,000 plus emails each month. So we can look back now and really start to refine at scale in a way that nobody else can. Hey, did this one hit the mark? Was this one a little off? Hey, wait, what are those, gold nuggets, those clinical pearls, so to speak, that we can pull out of our experience and the network effect we've been able to build to continue to help our docs get better and better results using the automated services? So that's one aspect that I'm really looking forward to. And that might sound, I don't want to speak too soon here. That might sound like EHR integrations. That might sound like, things that people might have heard about. And maybe we've been beta testing behind the scenes here as well, just to make the Smart Chiropractor that much easier, that much more effective. The second aspect of that, it ties in, but it's big enough that I'm going to give it its own category. And that's really helping docs diversify their practice by creating recurring revenue, predominantly online. There's a variety of ways, as we'll talk about and sort of showcase as time goes on, that a doc can do that. But I'll just kind of lead in with, kind of the tip of the spear, so to speak. We're building and creating recurring revenue without having inventory, with items that your patients are already purchasing, drop shipping them. That's really what we've built out with our Smart Care store system that to date we've only released to our Smart Chiropractor members. So there's no way to have a Smart Care store unless you're a Smart Chiropractor member. We have well over 50 stores up and running right now. I'm excited to get that number ramped up and help docs reduce their stress, help them create recurring revenue that diversifies their business a little bit. You can continue to do your fee for service, get your hands on people, deliver that care. But man, you can start to reduce your stress, meet those monthly expenses ultimately over time by having some memberships and subscriptions, some subscribe and save options for your patients. And the way that we put it together, it's not about selling. It's not about weirdly trying to insert something into your process and system that just doesn't feel right and doesn't work. This is the beauty of the Smart Chiropractor. All of the automations, email, social, video streaming, etc., can support those efforts that you're willing to do. And I'm just I can't wait. I mean, I'm jazzed at the reviews, the testimonials, the results ultimately that our docs are getting that you can see on our website now. I'm like mind blown for 12. I try to think about 12 months from now what those are going to look like, and it's pretty exciting.
That is awesome. I'm excited for it as well. As we sort of wrap up the segment, I guess let me ask what's inspiring you these days? We're living in a world of chaos. There's all kinds of uncertainty as the future unfolds in front of us day after day after day. The stakes have never been higher. The insanity, from what I know, has never been crazier globally, collectively, the way it is right now. What's driving you to keep doing what you're doing, inspiring you to, look at the future in a positive, optimistic way, and not let all the insanity sort of get the best of you?
I would say, is there any other time that like we as chiropractors are more needed, right? Yeah. So I mean, you look at this, and it's the look for the helpers kind of thing, right? So when you see all of this turmoil and craziness, and whatever, however you want to define it and view it, and whatever it means in the application of your practice and life. Again, I think of that as an opportunity, and an opportunity not for exploitation, an opportunity for real, truly grassroots helping people take one step, just that little step, just getting moving in the right direction. And that can mean a variety of different things, in your practice with the care that you deliver. Maybe it's a video that you shoot that impacts somebody that you'll never know or hear about. But just doing those little steps each and every day, I think is more important than ever, because, we look back, 2.5, 3 years now, golly, and it's like, everything seems so calm, and, it's, what do they say? Tough seas make sailors, and all this sort of, all the things, right? So I truly believe that, when you look back then and you're sort of just cruising along, it's easy to, maybe look at things that don't matter as much in some context, where when you really have, stormy seas and all of these challenges, and, as healthcare providers, as chiropractors, I mean, no matter what, it's going to influence you, right? It's within the sphere of what we do, as healthcare providers. So there is an impact, there is an influence. But I think the number one thing is really, this is an opportunity to think about, how do I help one person, right? How do I take that one next step? And, you don't have to be a lightning rod. Everybody has different personality. You don't need to be a lightning rod of controversy to do that. Some people, thrive in that sort of environment. Great. Others don't. Great. It's really about what are those things that you can do in your sphere of influence, and don't be foolish to think that that's only within 5 miles of your practice. Because of the tools we have right now, we're reaching people in Australia, New Zealand, the same as many docs out there. If you have more than a couple hundred followers on your Facebook or Instagram page, chances are you got a couple that probably live a long ways away that you've never met and you might never meet, but you can still impact and influence. They're still following you. They still want to learn from you. So what are those things that you can put out there? What are those items that you can do to teach and invite consistently? Because I can guarantee you, to tie it back to your original question, Jason, as far as me personally, getting out there, I feel better at the end of the day when I've taught and invited. When I can get out there and talk a little marketing, talk a little science, hop in this group, write a blog post, do something, write an email, whatever it might be, where I'm teaching, and then I'm inviting somebody to take a next step. Now with us, a lot of times that invitation is, hey, check out what we have going on at the Smart Chiropractor, because we know it helps so many people. The same as a chiropractor will say about the benefits that their care provides. So these are absolutely parallel paths, but at the end of the day, I think action is what matters, and don't be mistaken to think that it needs to be a march of 1 million people wherever. It can really happen with you at your desk, in your practice, in your spare room, in your house, in your apartment, whatever it might be, by teaching and inviting. And if you start to string some of that together and do it consistently, you'll feel better about yourself. You'll impact people along the way. And I have a sneaking suspicion that as you set your goals up for 2022, it'll inch you closer than you would get if you didn't.
You got a lot of excitement on that one around here too. Listen, I think you're right on. And this show is also, I think, one of the things that I'm proud of you. I'm proud of us for putting together, because it is the scheduling of teaching and inviting consistently. And, I noticed that in Mike Mills' program as well. He sort of called it the health show. That's really part of, the growth that we're all going to do together. Jeff, I'll close up this segment by saying thank you. Thanks for, showing up big every day, every week, every month. This would not be what it is without you and your direct contributions to getting in there, rolling up your sleeves, and making things happen the way they do. So to you, to us, to our profession for 2022, I'm just speechlessly enthusiastic and excited of exactly what you described. The bigger the crisis, the bigger the opportunity, and there's never been a bigger both.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at. So thanks for taking time out of your schedule. I hope you have a wonderful New Year's. And that you'll join us sometime on a future segment of our guest interview on the Smart Chiropractor Show.
I surely will. Thank you, Jason. And I'll tell you what, sometimes the interviews, the stars just align. Hey, if you like that video, be sure to subscribe to the Smart Chiropractor. We are posting videos on how you can market your chiropractic practice in a way that teach and invites consistently. We have found that is the magic formula to big time growth. So if you like this video, be sure to comment down below, smash that subscribe button, or visit us at thesmartchiropractor.com.